Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another Brad Judging video. And of course, I am recording another video, and I'm trying to set up a makeshift thing so I don't have to keep holding the camera. It's always nice when I do that. So let's try to make a makeshift camera holder. I need to do this probably before the video. But, you know, Brad likes to do things on the fly. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be good. There we go. Pretty good. I'll move. Anyways, there we go. Anyways, kind of tilted. Let me see if I can make this. There we go. All right. So I did check out the movie last night on Netflix. I've been kind of been stepping back with the movies the past couple weeks, and you've kind of seen a lot more music related stuff. And well, I love music, so you're going to see that kind of stuff. And there's plenty of other music reviews. I'm going to record some today that are going to go up. There's some other stuff that I have yet to put up on the channel. I don't think there's very much, though. I think there's only like 2 more reviews I haven't put up. 2 more album reviews I have not put up yet. I put up the Marilyn Manson one, Heaven Upside Down album. Really cool. I definitely like the thumbnail. That's probably one of my best thumbnails I did in a while. And I also did that one go up? I don't think I put that one up yet. Nope, I haven't put that one up. I won't say that. You'll have to wait and see what that is. But that's some interesting albums I chose to review. And there's some definitely other interesting albums that you'll see that I'm going to review, which I'm going to review them today. So what I want to talk about today is a movie that I checked out last night. It's a classic horror movie, and it is Stephen King's Children of the Corn, the original one. Now, I haven't seen any of the other ones. I haven't seen 2. I haven't seen anything else past the original one. I have not seen. So I'm hoping that since Netflix got the first Children of the Corn, now they did have, like, I think it was like Children of the Corn, like Genesis, like a long time ago, like probably like 2 years ago, they had it on Netflix. But it's like, I'm not going to watch that because I don't want to watch all the other ones before that. Why would I, you know, and I don't know like which one goes before which one. I have no idea. So I would love to get a thing of Children of the Corn because I think it would be interesting to have, or at least to watch once and then get rid of the DVDs. Because a lot of times I may not want to watch a movie again, but for some reason this movie like translates very well, and it's not even that long. Like you would think that one of the, you know, it's kind of a classic movie that people, you know, like, oh yeah, Children of the Corn. Oh yeah, I was creeped out by that. You know, around the time when it came out and like a few years after that. Nowadays, you don't really hear too much about Children of the Corn, which is kind of surprising because it is kind of a creepy movie. So if you had never seen Children of the Corn, this is your opportunity to check it out. Go to Netflix, check it out. It's basically about, they had these kids, and there's basically, they're really, really religious, but they believe in these weird things that basically the Bible, but it's kind of blown out of proportion. And they basically believe in that there's a God in the cornfield. That's basically what it is. They believe something is in the cornfield and it's a higher power. And there's a lot of things surrounding this that happens. There's Malachi, who is basically a teenager, and he's a redhead that has kind of like longish hair, really, really like, you know, strong head of red hair, and not curly, but a little bit curly. That didn't make sense. Not super curly, but like kind of like flowing hair. And he's a teenager, and he really has this like rugged look about him, you know, Malachi does. And then Isaac, which is a, you know, kid that, a kind of a younger kid, probably about my son's age, maybe a little bit more, probably about 10, 11 years old. And he's just looks super young, and he's supposed to be the leader. He is the super leader. Everybody's supposed to listen to him. And he says, that they call the person that they worship in the cornfield, or in the cornfield, the spirit, whatever. The man who I think it's the man who walks behind the row. I think that's what they call him, something like that. I mean, I got that wrong. I'm close enough. But supposedly Isaac is the only one that gets the information from him. So with that knowledge, these kids they're killing people and things like that in the movie, and a lot of that gets out of the way in the beginning of the movie, and you see that stuff. But a lot of it is just kind of like Hitchcocky. I don't know if Hitchcock really started that, but that's the one thing I always think about. Like when people talk about that kind of stuff, it's like old time kind of horror tactics where they don't show you stuff. You have to think about it, and that's the best kind of horror. If you ever want to see, good horror movies, watch some of the older ones because a lot of that stuff they don't show you this stuff. They'll give you the hint that they're getting killed, like an axe will come down, and right before it hits the person, it'll cut away, and that's kind of interesting because then you can think about whatever you think happened because you won't know. And sometimes, in the newer movies, they do that, but then they show what happened. And it's like, well, that defeats the purpose. If you know that they're dead and you see like their hand coming out of the doorway or something, or their leg sticking out, then you know they're dead. You can think about what they did in your own imagination. But they do a lot of that kind of stuff in this movie, I think, because they don't really show like everything. It's kind of like whoosh, and they cut away. Which it really works, and probably it also works for special effects. You don't have to do a lot of blood stuff and things like that. You just got to worry about blood splatter, and that's about it. And they do that in the movie too. There is some blood. Not really. I don't think there's any gore stuff really. I think there may be one thing that maybe kind of, but not really. Yeah, there's some stuff. Okay. But anyways, they kind of cut to they kind of give you an intro to the children and what's going on with the children, and every once in a while they'll jump back near the beginning of the film, and then when it gets later, they jump back less and less. But then it becomes a story about Isaac and Malachi having a disagreement in the movie, and I'm not really giving anything away. The movie is pretty straightforward. It's not really something where I can ruin it. Like even if I say, oh, they have this disagreement in the movie, that's all you know, and I'm not giving anything else away. So I'm not really spoiling anything for you. Because it doesn't even explain what happens. But there is a couple, a younger couple that, he's a doctor. So I'm assuming he's like mid-30s or something like that. And they're going to, you just say young couple, I'll say young couple. But they're going to this town that they're supposed to be basically starting a new life. He's going to become a doctor. I think they talked about having kids and stuff in the car while they're driving it in the beginning of the movie. A little bit into the movie. Because they don't show them until like 15 minutes after the movie starts. It kind of cuts back to them after they start talking about the kids. And they cut to them, and they're basically talking about, they're giving you the preface. They're kind of talking stuff up. Kind of let you know who these characters are. And then, then they kind of, they go on this road trip, and they're seeing things, and they start going to the town of, what the heck's the town's name? Gastel? Something like that. Starts with a G. I can't remember. But anyway, some town that starts with a G. They keep seeing signs for it. And, they get swept up, and somehow just shadiness is going on with the signs. And somehow they just end up in a town. And that's the town where the children of the corn live. So there you go. It ensues. But this movie this is the one thing. These are the cons of the movie. Let's talk about the cons of the movie. The things I do not like about this movie. The things I don't like about this movie is that sometimes they make the kids, or sometimes they have scenes that it seems like they're running from each other, and they seem to go like way too. Some of the scenes are way too long. The running scenes and the chasing scenes are kind of way too long. And then there's a couple scenes where they're running from them, they hide for a second, and they say something to each other, and then they're running from them again, and then they say something to each other, and then they're running from them again. And I'm just like, dude, why don't we just get to where we're going to go and stop having all these chase scenes? Because a lot of it's like in the wide open. It sounds like something kind of stupid that I'm complaining about, but when the scenes and what they say to each other, it doesn't really make much sense. It's just like random like talking. It's like if I was chasing my wife around and I'm filming a movie and we stop in my son's bedroom. We're like, hey, I like pepperoni pizza. Do you like pepperoni pizza? It's like they were having it seems like that was the kind of conversation because they were like talking. I know at one point they're talking to the kids and they're like, oh, and they're talking about their parents. And I was like, oh, that's great. But I don't know if this is the perfect time to talk about your parents because there's people outside trying to kill you. I understand his backstory has to be told, but couldn't you have told this before when they're in the house or something? Couldn't the daughter talk? Because she's not dumb. She can draw, and she can draw pretty decently. I mean, she drew near the beginning of the movie, or when they find the kids, There's two kids that are kind of like, they're so young that they don't like Isaac, so they kind of want to deflect. They don't want anything to do with him. They think he talks weird and he's just so odd that they don't want no part of Isaac. And for that, Isaac kind of is like, oh well, they're just children, and he kind of plays it off like, well, it's the man who walks behind the rose, things that he just basically like let them be. He doesn't really care about them right now because they're not old enough to really be a threat or whatever, but they are helping this guy out and grow up, whatever. Anyways, why didn't they say it back then? Like they had plenty of time and then they could have did it, whatever. But she did draw like a picture of like this girl getting drugged away, and I'm like, dude, she could draw pretty good. Like even those being stick figures. How do you draw that being stick figures? That's pretty dang good for. It's like I wonder, like, did she actually draw that? Because that's pretty cool. Anyway, Children of the Corn was a really really good movie. If you haven't checked out this classic, it's actually a Stephen King book. I actually totally forgot that it was a Stephen King book. I don't know if Stephen King ever wrote any sequels, like literally in book form. But I know he wrote evidently he wrote like a book. There wouldn't be a movie. Anyways, called Stephen King's Children of the Corn. But I will say this: the movie was great. And that's basically the only cons is like there's a little parts that are kind of like weird, but that's just an age thing. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the cons that you're going to see in the movie is just things that would happen back in that day, back in those kind of the horror film days. Like that's what would happen. Like they would have these chase scenes that would make no sense and wouldn't really fit into the movie. Like why are they outside? They're nowhere near a cornfield. And why are these kids chasing him? They should have caught him already. They have like 20 kids. They could have like surrounded them, the MFers, And it doesn't make any sense. Like, why can't they catch us? This town's not that big. They could all just like branch out and go in a circle and catch them. Anyways, have more weapons. None of them had weapons. Like that's what. Anyway, pros of this movie. Let's talk about the pros of this movie. Linda, what was her name? Linda, not Blair. Some kind of Linda is in this movie, and her name seemed like familiar. Nobody else, I don't think, is very popular in this movie. There is, I think maybe the dad was someone in the beginning of the movie. And like I said, I'm not really spoiling anything. He gets killed at the beginning of the movie. It happens within like the first 5 minutes of the movie. It's good, I can spoil that. I think he might have been somebody that was you kind of recognize him. I don't remember. I don't really know. But really the only one that was popular or maybe the guy too. It may have been both the couple, both the people of the couple was popular, which that makes sense because they probably got them because they were probably in horror movies at the time. They were kind of in a couple horror movies, so they probably dragged them into there to try and get the most out of people wanting to see the movie because they probably knew that they were pretty decently well known back in that time. Which this probably came out. I think this came out around 88, 80. I could be wrong, but I didn't really look it up. It was either the early 90s or like the late 80s it came out. I think it was around that time. And you can tell when it was made because you can tell really when a movie is made. Not lately now, like after 2000, it's hard to tell. But like even in the 90s, you can tell when the movie was made in the 90s. You can tell when the movie was made in the 80s. You can tell when it's like a 70s, 60s movie. Just because the way the movies was made. And the feel for it. Nowadays, like anything past 2000, you probably really couldn't tell. Because the quality kept getting better and better and better. So, I mean, if you see something from today and seen something from like 2003, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. There's just probably not much different. But in the 90s, you can kind of tell like what was going on and when it was filmed because of just how people acted and things like that. Hairdos are a factor too. Like somebody has an afro, you can probably guess it's probably not in this current year. I mean, there's people that still have afros, but I'm just saying. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you've seen Children of the Corn, the original one. I haven't seen any other ones. Don't spoil me. Don't tell me anything that happens. But I mean, I'd still watch them anyway. But let me know your thoughts on the Children of the Corn movie. Did you think it was good? What's your thoughts on the entire series of them? Do you think they got stupider as they went, or any other movies pretty good? But do you think the first one was? I think it stays the test of time because I watched this. I'm pretty sure I've seen this movie 3 or 4 times, and it's pretty good. Pretty good each time I watch it. It's not something I'm going to watch Like I would never buy Children of the Corn. Like I said, the only reason why I'd buy it is to have the whole set, because it was like 1 through 11. Because I think after Genesis they may have came out with like 1 or 2 more so far. So they might be like 12 movies. And if they had it for sale for like $15, I'd probably pick them up just to watch the entire series. I probably wouldn't watch the first one again, but I'd start at number 2 and I'd work that way. Because I've seen the first one, like I said, numerous times. But if I hadn't seen it in a while, like if I don't find if I wouldn't find the movies for like another 3 or 4 years, I may rewatch the first one just to know what's going on. But I pretty much remembered everything when I started watching. Like I knew I'd seen it before, but I was like, well, let me get it fresh in my mind because I want to review on the channel and I want to get the correct names and things like that right. I don't remember the main couple's name though or anything. So, anyways, it's on Netflix currently. When this video is posted, it was on Netflix. As always, like I say, usually these movies make their rounds on different streaming devices or streaming services. So if it's not on one, it's on probably one of the other ones. If not, a lot of these. It's the great thing about it. And I know this is like last night or this morning. I was looking for the Jigsaw movie, which I really, really want to see. So stay tuned for that video. Probably to be popping up soon. I think I'm going to watch it this coming Sunday or Monday. I'm going to review it digitally, and I'm going to check it out. Let you know what I thought about that because I really want to see Jigsaw. I'm a huge Saw fan. I'm a Saw nut. I want to eventually get all the Saw movies in my collection again. Those are videos or DVDs I would definitely put in my collection. But anyways, hope you like the video. Comment down below about Children of the Corn. Like, comment, subscribe as always. Keep rocking and keep on watching Stephen King movies. Later, guys.